People on these games never come back.
We have no choice. We need money for a doctor now.
Welcome to the Running Man. Contestants will be hunted for 30 days. Anyone can kill you.
Hunt him down!
And it's crazy, right?
Picture a future where America doesn't care about its people anymore. Healthcare, gone. Jobs, rare. Hope, almost extinct. Instead, the entire country is controlled by a ruthless media empire simply known as the network, and their solution to poverty isn't fixing it. It's entertainment. Violent, loud, and distracting entertainment. Their crown jewel, a twisted game show called The Running Man. The rules are simple and terrifying. Contestants must stay alive for 30 straight days, while being hunted not only by network-trained killers, but also by regular citizens who are encouraged to turn snitch, hunter, or executioner. The reward? A jaw-dropping $1 billion. Sounds great, except for one small detail. No one has ever survived long enough to claim it. Not once. Now enter Ben, a regular blue-collar guy who did everything right and still got crushed by the system. He recently lost his job, and thanks to his involvement in labor unions, he's been quietly blacklisted. Translation, no company will touch him. Not now, not ever. Meanwhile, his young daughter Kathy is seriously ill. She needs medicine, real medicine, and that costs money Ben simply doesn't have. Back at home, the pressure keeps piling up. Ben's wife Sheila comes home late again, exhausted, announcing she's taking yet another shift at the bar to keep food on the table. Ben hates it. Not because she's working, but because he knows exactly the kind of creeps she has to deal with every night. So Ben makes a bold, borderline insane decision. He tells her he'll solve their money problems by joining a network game show. Sheila immediately panics. And honestly, who wouldn't? People come back from those shows broken, if they come back at all. Ben tries to calm her down, promising he won't do anything dangerous. He'll just join one of the harmless commercial programs? Yeah, famous last words. The next day, Ben walks through his decaying, overcrowded neighborhood before reaching a massive fence that separates the poor from the privileged. On the other side, clean streets, security, power, everything the lower class is denied. When Ben tells the guards he's here for the network tryouts, they open the gates without hesitation. That alone tells you everything about who really matters in this society. Inside the recruitment station, the sight is bleak. A long line of desperate people, all clinging to the same fragile hope. Maybe this show will save me. Suddenly, an elderly man in line starts feeling sick. He insists he can still compete, desperation talking louder than common sense. When the man collapses, Ben instinctively catches him and shouts for help. Bad move. Instead of helping, the guards snap. They accuse Ben of breaking the rules, drag him away, and beat him just to send a message. Compassion, apparently, is a punishable offense. At the registration desk, things go from bad to worse. Ben learns his file has been flagged, labeled as insubordinate. Years of standing up for workers have finally caught up with him. Furious and humiliated, Ben loses control and punches the screen right in front of them. Surprisingly, it works. He's given a contestant bracelet and sent to Elevator 6, where he meets two fellow hopefuls, Tim and Jenny, who immediately latch onto him like excited puppies. They're friendly, optimistic, and clearly not built for what's coming. The contestants are issued identical uniforms and thrown straight into brutal physical tests. Climbing, running, crawling through filthy sewer tunnels. No safety nets, no mercy. Ben repeatedly risks himself to help Tim survive, proving he's not just strong, but stubbornly decent in a world that punishes decency. During a short break, a guard decides Ben needs discipline and attacks him. Instead of backing down, Ben does something unexpected. He blocks the strike and stares the guard down. For the first time, the authority figures hesitate. Then comes the mental side of the process. Psychological exams, word association drills, disturbing Rorschach-style images meant to break their minds. The network isn't just testing bodies, they're searching for fighters, people who can endure fear, pressure, and public humiliation, all for the sake of ratings. And Ben, whether he realizes it or not, he's exactly what they're looking for. From the very start, Ben makes one thing clear: he's not here to be polite. During the psychological evaluations, every question thrown at him gets met with sarcasm, sharp wit, and a visible attitude problem. The psychologist doesn't even try to sugarcoat it. According to her notes, Ben is officially the angriest contestant they've ever tested. Honestly, in a world like this, can you blame him? Those who survive the final selection round are handed color-coded jumpsuits, each color matching a different game show. When Ben, Tim, and Jenny receive bright red suits with giant targets on their backs, the message couldn't be clearer. They've been selected for the Running Man. No applause, no celebration, just quiet dread. Ben immediately demands a meeting with producer Dan, hoping to switch to another show. Dan plays the corporate smile game, offering Ben a measly $1,000 bonus to calm him down. Then comes the cold truth. No other show pays more than that. In Running Man, money stacks up per day survived. And since Ben is blacklisted from every normal job on the planet, this is essentially his last employment opportunity. Thinking about his wife, thinking about Kathy, thinking about medicine bills, Ben signs the contract. Right after, he's introduced to an agent from the so-called Family Alliance. As part of the deal, the network will protect his family, meaning they'll be relocated to a safe house, given fake names, and monitored like prisoners with better furniture. Ben asks for one last visit. Denied. He's allowed a single phone call. During that call, Ben finally tells Sheila the truth. He's entering Running Man. He promises her he'll win, not because he's confident, but because believing anything else would break him. That night, Ben is placed in a private luxury room that feels more like a gilded cage. The agent later returns with an envelope from Sheila. Inside is a family photo, carefully tucked into Kathy's sock, a quiet good luck charm that hits harder than any speech ever could. The next morning, Ben is fitted with a running band, a bracelet that tracks how much time he has left and how much money he's earned. His life is officially reduced to numbers on a screen. Then the show begins. Host Bobby drags Ben onto the stage and immediately starts lying through his teeth. He tells the roaring crowd that Ben used to work for Defense Network Security until he was caught selling classified information. Fake footage rolls across the massive screens, painting Ben as a traitor and criminal. Ben tries to speak. No one listens, because the audience believes Running Man isn't entertainment, it's justice. They don't know these players are desperate citizens. They think they're watching criminals get what they deserve. To make things worse, civilians are even paid to report player locations. Snitching has become a side hustle. When Bobby asks for Ben's final words, Ben snaps. He insults Bobby, the crowd, the entire system, and promises that he'll survive long enough to burn this building to the ground. And suddenly, the crowd loves him. Anger sells. After introducing all contestants, Bobby explains the rules. Each player gets $1,000 up front and a 12-hour head start. The 5 elite hunters won't be released until the next morning. Contestants must record at least 10 minutes of footage every day and deposit the tapes before midnight. Miss the deadline and you stop earning money, but the hunt doesn't stop. Then the hunters are revealed. The audience cheers like they're rock stars. Ben, Tim, and Jenny are separated into different elevators and dropped into a dark room. Inside, Ben finds basic clothes, cash, and a camera. He changes quickly and walks out into the city, officially a hunted man. Trying to blend in, Ben hops into a cab. Big mistake. The driver instantly recognizes him and asks for a selfie. When Ben refuses, the driver's mood flips. He coldly reminds Ben that being nice is in his best interest, unless he wants his location reported. Ben exits the cab without another word and starts running. He eventually reaches an abandoned building where he meets Molly, an old friend who now manufactures goods for the black market. Ben asks for 2 fake IDs and a gun. Molly explodes. Helping Ben during the game puts a massive target on his own back. After a heated argument and after hearing about Kathy, Molly finally agrees to help with the IDs. Ben gets a full makeover, complete with a new look and clean fake documents. His belongings are packed into a suitcase to make him look like a traveling businessman. Molly gives him one last piece of brutal advice. Stay out of the slums. Poor people will sell him out faster than the rich. If Ben wants to survive, he needs crowds. Places where he can disappear. Before Ben leaves, Molly admits something painful. He had planned to hire Ben as his assistant. A real job, a real future. But now, it's far too late. Morning arrives and Ben barely has time to breathe before reality slams him again. Every wall, every screen, every corner of the train station is plastered with his face, and Tim's and Jenny's. The city isn't just watching anymore, it's actively hunting. Ben buys a ticket to New York just seconds before his bracelet chirps to life. The hunt has officially begun. On the train, a kid tries to strike up a conversation. Ben snaps instantly, threatening him out of pure paranoia. Turns out, the kid wasn't a snitch at all. He just wanted to point out that Ben's fake mustache is literally peeling off his face. Awkward, but also terrifying. In New York, Ben checks into a clean, upscale hotel, the kind of place no one expects a hunted man to hide. The receptionist notices his ID photo includes a mustache he no longer has. Ben shrugs it off, casually claiming he shaved. Somehow, that's good enough. Inside the room, Ben gets to work. He removes the disguise, blocks the walls, and films himself doing absolutely nothing. Just sleeping. Boring footage keeps you alive in this game. That night, he calmly drops the tape into the collection box. At midnight, the bracelet buzzes again. First day bonus secured. Elsewhere, the tone is much darker. The hunters track down Molly. They torture him until he gives up the fake name on Ben's ID. The system is closing in. That night, Ben dreams the hunters crashing into his hotel room and gunning him down in cold blood. He jolts awake, soaked in sweat, only to realize it was a nightmare. But the fear doesn't fade. The TV clicks on. Live footage shows Tim flirting with a store clerk, completely unaware of what's about to happen. The hunters arrive effortlessly. Seconds later, Tim steps outside and is executed on the spot. No warning, no mercy, just entertainment. Ben doesn't hesitate. He extends his hotel stay for 3 more days, then immediately packs his belongings into a cheap bag and tosses it out the window into a trash container below. He exits the hotel calmly, retrieves the bag like nothing happened, and boards a bus to Boston. There, Ben trades money for anonymity, buying worn-out clothes and a hostile key from a desperate man. He sneaks inside and steps into an elevator, completely missing the out-of-service sign that had fallen earlier. Halfway up, the elevator dies. Ben climbs out and reaches the 3rd floor where his room awaits. Inside the closet, he discovers a strange survival kit, chewing gum, cigarettes, and a grenade. Clearly, someone else played this game before. He records his daily tape, but the bracelet reminds him he still needs to drop it off. Problem is, the tape box is surrounded by people. Too many people. While heading toward the shared bathroom, Ben suddenly freezes. He recognizes one of the faces outside, one of the hunters. They're coming upstairs. Pure luck saves him as someone exits the bathroom at the exact moment the hunter reaches the floor. The door blocks Ben from view. Once the hunter moves on, Ben slips inside and checks the bathroom window, completely blocked. No escape that way, and he can't leave without his bag. Thinking fast, Ben rips a metal rod from the wall, smashes the mirror, and uses gum to attach a shard of glass to the rod, creating a makeshift periscope. In the hallway, he uses it to track the hunter's positions. Then, he gambles. Ben sprints upstairs, shouting that he saw himself running on the 2nd floor. The hunters take the bait. Ben keeps running, all the way to the roof. Grabbing the cables from a glowing sign, he lowers himself down toward his room. He smashes the window and slips inside, just as the hunters realize they've been played. Gunfire erupts. Ben barely has time to change clothes and grab his gear before bullets shred the door. He jumps back out the window and grabs the cable again. The sign bends under his weight. A hunter waits below, ready. With no other option, Ben crashes through another window and keeps running. The network's drone follows closely, broadcasting everything. Ben charges down the corridor under heavy fire, dives into the elevator, and grabs the drone midair, smashing it into the control panel. The recording cuts. The elevator starts moving again. In the lobby, a hunter rushes him. Ben throws the grenade, but the hunter kicks it right back. Without hesitation, Ben snatches it and hurls it through a hole in the ceiling. The explosion shakes the building. The elevator plunges straight down into the basement, and Ben disappears once again. Ben finds himself trapped in total darkness, armed with nothing but a single match. Not exactly the survival kit of a billion-dollar contestant. Thinking fast, he lights a magazine just to see where he's going. Bad idea. The flames spread fast, and to make things worse, a hanging rope catches fire too. Panic sets in as the basement starts turning into an oven. When the hunters close in from the corridor, Ben shoves heavy furniture against the door, buying himself seconds, precious seconds. With no other option, he follows the rats into the sewer tunnels below, and just as he disappears, the hunter's gunfire hits a gas pipe. Boom! The basement erupts in a massive explosion. Fire races through the tunnels like it's alive. Ben dives straight into filthy sewer water, barely escaping as the entire building detonates above him. When he finally emerges onto the street, coughing and soaked, a man named Stacy approaches him. Ben instantly snaps into threat mode, because at this point, trust is a luxury he can't afford. Stacy calms him down, insisting he's not a snitch, just someone who wants to help. While hiding in an alley, Ben checks his bracelet and nearly loses it. The network has just rewarded him a huge amount of money. for the people who died in the explosion. Even when he survives, the system still twists everything into profit. Stacy soon returns with his brother Brad, who takes Ben home and feeds him like a human being, a rare experience lately. Brad's family also has a sick child, which hits Ben right in the chest. Still, Brad refuses any payment. He's part of the underground resistance, an anti-network rebel. Brad then shows Ben something incredible, a hidden video room where he records breakdowns of Running Man episodes and secretly uploads them online. He explains the brutal truth: players only die when they're exposed. Survival isn't about strength anymore, it's about staying invisible. Brad offers Ben a long-term plan: hide with them until the final day, then flip the entire game on its head. The next day, Ben learns just how ugly life is in this neighborhood. Abuse, disappearances, suffering, all carefully buried by the government. Furious, Ben records a message exposing everything, accusing the network of killing its own children. That night, Bobby goes live. Surrounded by a group of children, Bobby claims they were orphaned by Ben's terrorist explosion. Then, he plays Ben's tape, heavily edited, twisting his words until it sounds like he's mocking innocent kids. Ben tries to explain the truth. No one believes him. Brad's mother, disgusted and heartbroken, kicks Ben out immediately. Even truth can't survive good propaganda. Still, Brad and Stacy refuse to give up on him. They hide Ben in their car trunk and speed away. Suddenly, bullets slam into the metal. Two bikers are chasing them. Ben pops the trunk, hurls a tool straight into one biker's face, sending him crashing. The other biker opens fire, forcing Ben back inside. Brad slams the brakes. The bikers can't stop in time. They crash, and Brad finishes the job by running them over. No hesitation. Afterward, Brad drops Ben outside town, hands him a gun, and gives him an address: his friend Elton, the last safe contact he has. After a short train ride, Ben hides in yet another hotel, watching his newest tape air on TV. Knowing the network will edit everything anyway, he did something genius. He simply recorded himself quietly reading a book. No ammo for manipulation. Bobby also plays Jenny's footage, revealing she's partying at a club, dangerously exposed. Disguised as a blind priest, Ben sneaks out to deliver his tape. But the mailman at the drop box grows suspicious. He pretends to ask a question, leans closer, and secretly starts recording Ben's face. Wrong move. Ben tackles him instantly, head-butting him hard before fleeing. A car gives chase. Ben cuts through the woods, leaps a fence, and times it perfectly, jumping onto a moving train. Gunshots echo behind him, but it's too late. Ben is already hopping between train cars. In Maine, Ben blends in again, pretending to be disabled while standing among a group watching the show on a street screen. On TV, Jenny almost makes it. She's found in a casino and nearly escapes by car. Almost. Two teenagers recognize her and set the vehicle on fire. Jenny dies screaming. The crowd watches, and the show goes on. Not long after, Ben finally reaches Elton, a quiet, intense guy living with his mother. Elton quickly waves off any concern, casually explaining that she's not mentally stable, so whatever she says can be ignored. That reassurance will not age well. Elton takes Ben to a hidden room where he secretly prints an anti-network newsletter. This isn't just rebellion for him, it's personal. His father was a cop who dared to speak out against the system, and his reward was death at the hands of his own colleagues. From that day on, Elton chose resistance over silence. He drops another terrifying truth. Street lamps across the entire country are fitted with scanners capable of identifying DNA traces, meaning the streets themselves are watching. If Ben wants to survive, he needs to stay underground. Luckily, Elton's father had built a Cold War-era bunker. The plan is simple and insane at the same time. Hide Ben there until the final day, then plaster his face all over the country through the underground press and spark a full-scale uprising. That night, Ben sleeps in a concealed room and records his daily tape. The next morning, everything collapses. As Ben tries to deliver the tape, Elton's mother spots him and immediately recognizes his face. She starts screaming, trying to alert the neighborhood. Elton stops her, but something dark clicks inside him. He realizes this could be his chance to avenge his father, so he calls the cops anyway. Within minutes, the house is surrounded. Bullets tear through the walls like paper. Elton's mother tries to give up their location, but Elton locks her away and activates the house's traps. When officers break in, water floods the floor. Electrified cables drop, frying several of them instantly. Ben and Elton escape through a hidden wall. The cops follow and get blasted with chemicals that ignite into flames. Another trap gives way beneath their feet, sending more officers crashing down broken stairs. They race into the bathroom, slide down a pole hidden in the shower, and reach another room where Elton reveals a trap door. Beneath it lies a tunnel, but waiting inside is a hunter. He stabs Elton and charges Ben. A brutal fight erupts. Ben's hand is slashed before he finally disarms the hunter. Wounded but furious, Elton grabs the knife and slices the hunter's ankle, dropping him to the ground. Then the hunter's phone rings. It's Dan. Dan wants to talk, calmly, casually, as if this isn't life or death. Ben asks the obvious question. Why not fake the show with technology? Dan admits they tried. Turns out digital humans don't bleed convincingly, and audiences prefer the real thing. Dan then makes a sick request. Kill the hunter on camera. Ratings matter. Ben answers by shooting the drone instead. Ben and Elton crash through a door straight into a vehicle and speed into the woods, but a helicopter immediately gives chase. Realizing there's no escape for both of them, Elton begs Ben to use him as a distraction and run to the shelter. Before Ben can argue, a sniper shot rings out. Elton is killed instantly. Now alone, Ben is surrounded by two hunters, but they don't fire. Orders came down. Ben must be captured alive so the network can execute him on live television. The vehicle is packed with explosives. Ben floors it toward a bridge, jumps out at the last second, and the car slams into one of the hunters, detonating in a massive explosion. Ben crashes into the river below as his bracelet cheerfully informs him he's earned another massive bonus for killing someone. After days of sneaking through the countryside, Ben finally reaches the bunker's location, only to discover it's gone. The government destroyed it to build a new city. That night, Ben hides in an abandoned house. He dreams of his family, and that dream becomes fuel. When police later arrive, they find only his latest tape and a message. You mail it. Back on the road, Ben smashes the window of a passing car and forces his way inside. The driver, Amelia, is terrified. Ben orders her to drive fast as drones and police swarm behind them. She swerves through traffic, suddenly turning into oncoming lanes and briefly losing their pursuers. Furious and terrified, Amelia unloads insults on Ben until he shows her a photo of his family and finally tells her the truth about the players, the lies, and the fabricated footage. Before she can respond, the car's AI system is hacked, forcing the vehicle to stop. Two armed rednecks rush toward them, but a drone suddenly opens fire, blowing up their truck. Dan wants Ben alive, angry, talking, and useful for ratings. On TV, a fake broadcast shows Amelia screaming for help. That's when it clicks for her. Ben has been telling the truth all along. They drive on, and something unexpected happens. People begin lining the roads, cheering, waving, supporting them. The narrative is slipping out of the network's control. Eventually, the road is blocked. Standing there is the leader of the hunters. Drones hover overhead. Cameras are rolling nationwide. Ben steps out and makes his boldest move yet, claiming he's wired with explosives and threatening to kill everyone on live television if they come closer. The game has officially changed. With cameras hovering and the entire nation watching, Ben makes his final demand: a plane and 2 parachutes. The hunter leader receives the order to comply. For the first time, the network hesitates, not because they care, but because the ratings are insane. Ben turns to Amelia and tells her she's free to go. Surprisingly, she refuses. After everything she's seen, she's done being a bystander. At the airport, Ben pulls another power move. He demands the hunter leader remove his mask. The man resists until Dan orders him to comply. The cameras zoom in, revealing Evan's face to the world. The hunters are no longer faceless monsters. Ben notices something else too. The pilots, hunters. He threatens to blow up the plane unless they head toward Canada. Once airborne, tension explodes inside the cabin. Evan grows impatient. Ben fires back with insults, and things nearly turn violent, until Amelia pretends to panic about the bomb, forcing everyone to stand down. Then Dan appears on a screen, smiling. He announces they've scanned the plane. There is no bomb. Evan raises his gun, but the pilots suddenly aim at him. Dan shuts him down immediately. He wants Ben's death on camera, not a messy accident. Dan then makes his final offer: kill Evan, kill the pilots, and Ben can become a hunter, rich, protected, untouchable. Ben refuses. That's when Dan crosses the line. He plays footage of Sheila and Kathy being murdered. Ben breaks. He screams, smashes the screen, and collapses in grief. Amelia, horrified, turns on her own screen, only to see Bobby broadcasting the same clip, claiming the hunters broke the rules. The audience snaps. For the first time, The crowd is fully on Ben's side. A pilot realizes what's happening and reaches for his gun. Ben shoots first, using the body as a shield as bullets tear through the cabin. Chaos erupts. The struggle sends the plane into a steep dive. After a brutal fight, Ben regains control, executes the remaining hunters, and the drone activates the remote pilot, stabilizing the aircraft. But Evan isn't done. He ambushes Ben from a hatch, smashing his head into a mirror. Evan slashes Ben's stomach with a shard of glass and reveals the truth. He was once a player too. Evan survived 29 days, just one short of winning. The network stopped him by offering a deal: become a hunter or lose your family. He hints the footage of Ben's family may be fake. Evan tries to shoot Ben, but the plane suddenly jerks. The bullet misses, shattering a window. The cabin depressurizes. Evan attacks again, unaware Ben stole a parachute. Ben pulls the cord. The parachute gets jammed in the broken window, pinning Evan in place. Ben uses the moment to stab Evan and finally end him. Ben hands Amelia a bag filled with Elton's rebel newsletters and opens the door. She jumps. The drone follows her, but she flips it off, releases the flyers into the sky, and lets the truth scatter across the wind. Back on TV, Dan announces Ben as the new hunter. Ben steps toward the camera. He speaks about his daughter, about the lies, about how the network controls society. And then he says the one thing they fear most: stop watching. Go after the people in charge. The signal cuts instantly. Dan edits the footage to make Ben look insane. The world watches as the plane approaches the network station and explodes midair. Game over, or so they think. Later, Brad analyzed the broadcast and points out massive inconsistencies. People start questioning everything. The plane's black box is recovered. The real footage leaks online. Thanks to Ben's speech and Elton's newsletters, the public finally wakes up. The revolution begins. Brad also discovers something strange. The plane's auto-eject seat is missing. Ben might still be alive. Elsewhere, Sheila and a now healthy Kathy are shopping peacefully, using the money Ben earned. As they step outside, they freeze. Ben is standing there, alive. At the network station, Bobby panics as an enraged crowd surrounds the building and quits on the spot. Dan takes the stage, only to be met with bombs, fire, and chaos. Rebels storm the building. Dan tries to escape. He trips. From the flames, Ben emerges. One shot, the network falls. But here's the real question for you. If you were watching this world collapse on live TV, would you stay silent or would you support the truth? If this story made you think, hit like. And if you want more recaps that expose systems, lies, and power games like this, subscribe and turn on notifications, because the real game doesn't end here. Thanks for watching.